Right, time now for business, and Fernand van Tetz is here. Fernand, good morning to you.
Good morning.
We're going to start with Nissan. Last week, the car manufacturer announced it was to keep its operations in the UK despite the Brexit vote. And now questions are rising about what kind of deal they managed to strike.
Right, so details slowly starting to emerge about what exactly was promised. That goes from free access, tariff-free access to extra funding. Now, other sectors are gearing up to get the same assurances offered to Nissan by the UK government. And it could get very expensive, as Josh Vardy explains.
Promises of no tariffs or extra bureaucratic burdens on the UK car industry. UK Business Secretary Greg Clark has revealed the assurances given to car manufacturer Nissan in the wake of the June vote to leave the European Union. On UK national television, Clark said the government promised extra funding for training, that the supply chain would rely on small and medium-sized British companies, an emphasis on research and development, and tariff-free trade with the EU. Despite no government promise of compensation if Nissan did eventually face tariffs, it's that last point that's made other UK sectors fearing the Brexit to take notice. If the UK leaves the EU, the country's financial sector hopes to maintain so-called passporting rights, which allow banks access to the EU market. Services, including financial services, account for around 78% of the UK's GDP. The country's pharmaceutical industry, another cornerstone of the economy, also want assurances that their research investments will be safeguarded and that their own exports will not face trade barriers. Former Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg has warned the government that they could face colossal bills in subsidies if similar tariff-free deals are struck with other sectors.
Right, let's take a quick look at the markets. Fernand, how are they doing this morning?
Well, markets jittery after that news of the FBI reopening that probe, as you just reported. Markets just opened in Europe. Germany has reported that September saw the biggest monthly decline in retail sales since July 2014. And you can see that in the DAX down there, 4 percentage points. In Asia, stocks ended October on a down note. Energy dragging markets down, particularly there, as markets heard from OPEC, non-OPEC members, that it was unlikely that they would be halting production. Markets also waiting for a number of central banks, including the Bank of England, the Bank of Japan, and the Federal Reserve to meet later this week. And of course, bracing for the US elections next week. Let's take a look at the day's other business stories for you now. Speculation about the fate of Bank of England Governor Mark Carney continued over the weekend, following political criticism of his post-Brexit measures. Now, his current term will expire in 2021, but he can leave after 5 years, and that would be in 2018. The Canadian has said he will make his decision based on personal reasons, and the Financial Times reported today that he will make an announcement this week to, quote, put an end to damaging speculation. A $30 billion deal between General Electric and Houston-based Baker Hughes could be announced today. The Wall Street Journal reported that GE is looking to combine its oil and gas business with the number 3 oilfield services provider. But there is no guarantee such a deal will go through. Baker Hughes' last attempt to merge in a $35 billion deal with Halliburton was rejected by antitrust regulators this year. And 3 of Japan's biggest shipping companies are merging their container operations. Nippon Yusen, Mitsui Oseki Lines, and Kawasaki Kisen Keisha said the joint venture will allow them to save more than $1 billion a year. The deal comes as the industry struggles with overcapacity and mounting losses.
And finally, some good news for lovers of Bitcoin, if they live in Switzerland, that is. Tell us more.
Yeah, if they don't live there, they can hop on a train there. This is the Swiss rail operator says that they will start selling the world's first digital currency at around 1,000 train ticket machines there. In 2 weeks' time, customers will be able to swap various currencies worth up to around 460 euros at their local train station. Now, currently, that's worth less than 1 Bitcoin, valued at more than 630 euros this morning. But you can buy fractions of the digital currency. But the railway has stressed that you won't be able to use Bitcoins to buy your train ticket.
Okay, Fernand, thank you very much for that. So that was the Business Roundup with Fernand van Tetz.